at you. Like a little ray of sunshine over there.
I know. I'm feeling good. It's episode 325. I'm here with you. It's what do I have to be mad about? Nothing.
Right, and I'm super stoked because I'm wearing my new favorite sweatshirt that, do you like it?
It's so cute.
Tori Deal, this is one of hers from her line.
No way.
Yeah, I loved it. I treated
line?
Yeah, she's got, her and Jordan's doing all the clothes stuff, and she's got the cutest. It's called Sweethearts, Suihearts. They have an online store and they do clothing. And this is not an ad. This is just me really liking her stuff. And there's this sweatshirt that said, "Fate is in your own hands." And I was like, that is so perfect with my theory of change that I use in therapy about how everybody is the master of their own destiny. And so when I finished school, I was like, I'm going to treat myself to this adorable sweatshirt because it has. Aww. And now that I get to wear comfy clothes instead of office clothes all the time, bring them on.
Right? There's nothing like a good hoodie, I got to say.
Oh, I love it. A little cropped action. It's just the best.
Oh, I love her too.
Me too. And I was anything to just, support my girl.
Kind of speaking of your graduation, I wanted to surprise you with something, and I just actually got an email saying it's not going to work out, and I'm sad.
Oh.
I was determined to get an interview and a signed something from Robert Sapolsky for you.
Oh my God.
And I was
just the fact that you even thought about it is enough.
But I thought, well, he'll do at least autograph a book for me or write a note or whatever. And then I was also want to come on our show? And then I didn't hear back. So then yesterday I wrote him again. And then he just wrote back and said, "Thanks for writing and forgive me for my slow response. I'd normally be happy to help with both a note and an interview, but I'm seriously swamped these days and just can't. Please send my congratulations to your friend on her graduation."
Oh my God! He's congratulating me. That counts. Oh, I'm about to cry right now thinking that he even is in some way thinking about me. And I probably would have had a complete meltdown had I actually opened up. So better.
If he had said yes, I definitely would have given you warning. I wouldn't have just had him call in or anything.
I'm having heart palpitations as we speak, thinking God. I'm I would not know. I'm already getting tongue-tied.
Sarah.
So silly.
I just feel so mad. I really thought it would work out. Thank you
so much. That's so sweet.
Gosh darn it. Now I'll have to try for Jeff Goldblum.
What if he's yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, right. That's what's weird is it's always been like that for me where the person that you think is a shoo-in will say no and then someone crazy will say yes. So you never know. Never know.
Well, I had a crazy dream last night that you and I went to a beat it was a concert. I don't know who it was, but somehow there was an empty seat next to us, and Paul McCartney came and sat down right next to us.
Oh my God!
And was
Sarah.
Super casual about it, and everybody else was freaking out. And then somebody next to us, in a row in front of us, turned on their camera, turned on their phone, and he got upset, and he was that light from that phone is really
oh my God,
bothering the performer. Please be respectful and turn it off.
And I was oh God, definitely
don't. Yes, I dreamt that Paul McCartney was telling somebody to please be respectful, but also sitting next to us.
I'm putting this on my vision board because
yes, do it.
I mean,
maybe that was a what is it, prophetic dream?
Yeah,
prophetizing me, my dream.
Oh, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love him so much.
Right? And he's visiting us in our dreams.
And you know what's cool is that he would be totally cool and chilled out and just whatevs. I don't know how he has managed to remain so normal over time, but he is so normal.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Maybe because he always has one woman in his life. He's not partying and doing crazy stuff. He always was settled.
There's some balance there.
I love him. That's all I know.
Yeah. Oh, swoon.
I read this story that we have to talk about.
Yes.
First, though, I'll talk about how great my teeth are. Thanks to Quip toothbrushes.
Yes.
I went to the dentist yesterday. I did a tweet about it. I was saying how why, you know how Priuses are basically silent now?
Yeah.
Why can't we apply that same technology to dental tools?
Why does it have to be like...
As soon as I walked in the dentist, I was like, oh, that sound.
Yeah.
And
you're a highly sensitive person, so I bet that sound is awful for you.
I hate going to the dentist, but thankfully I don't have any cavities, and they were asking if I used an electric toothbrush, and I absolutely do. It's called Quip, but it's not one of those bulky, ridiculous ones that take up all that room on your sink. They mount to your mirror in a little thingy that then you can take off and use as a cap when you travel. So it's sleek. It looks good. And now they have a kid's version, same as their original, but with this better size for kids, a smaller brush head. And you can get watermelon toothpaste.
Oh, cute.
Very nice. And then it has vibrations every 30 seconds, so it tells you when to switch sides. And it just gets your mouth a lot cleaner than those regular manual ones. And they have a deal for you guys. We love Quip because it's convenient and it looks nice in your bathroom. And over 1 million happy, healthy mouths do too. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/braincandy right now, you get your first refill pack for free because they send you a refill every 3 months, just like the doctor one, so you can replace that head. That's a first refill pack for free at getquip.com/braincandy. And you can get this for your dad. Father's Day's coming up. Lord knows they need to be brushing better. Let's face it. Or like a graduation. It's perfect for someone going off to college. So these are good gift ideas too. So give that a whirl. And get one for your kid too.
I am all about this stuff just showing up and me not having to think about it.
Life is busy. And those things really help. Yeah. So there was this article about something called, you're familiar with hobby horses, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently there are people who use their hobby horses and compete as if they're,
oh my God.
In a real horse show.
I love these kind of things.
And it's mostly little girls, like maybe 10, 12, that type of age. And they are, straddling this hobby horse. And so their upper body is to remain, straight and fixed. Yes. And then their lower body acts like the horse and does all these cantering and prancing and whatever. And like they jump over those bars, And like they even have a veterinarian that comes and like teaches them how to take care of their horse. Sorry. And so I wondered what you think about this type of thing.
Well, a quick Google search provided some of the greatest photos that have ever been. Wow.
Yeah.
They jump high. This is serious.
They jump high.
Apparently, this is a big thing in Finland.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, get it, girls. You know what? I'm fine with this. Here's why.
Yeah.
The fact that horse riding is like this elitist, reserved for only, people who have like $1 bajillion to buy a horse and then like the stable to put it in. Like, go ahead, little girls. Like, have your fun. They're 10-year-old girls, for Christ's sake. Like, let them play. I mean, this is no different than, I don't know, little boys, like, what do they do? Do like go-kart racing or something like that?
Paper,
I don't know. It's not a real car, but yeah.
Derbies with the little
roller
wooden cars.
derby, right? Yes, slot car derbies, all those things. It's essentially the same thing. They're like doing auto maintenance on their derby cars. So this is like a vet coming in and checking out the horses. Like, I think it's cute.
That part really cracks me up, though, because the vet will be like,
funny.
Make sure
Picking up their hooves.
Yeah, make sure you watch their eyes, and make sure there's no discharge from their nose. And it's just, that part was like,
oh my God.
It feels silly.
But I think we should cater to the child's imagination for as long as possible.
That's what I concluded. Once I finished the article, I thought, you know what? This is a beautiful thing where the girls can remain in that playful innocence before everything goes to hell and we start hating ourselves.
Exactly.
And I'm all for it, but it is funny to me.
I love this sport, and it is so cute. And also the picture that they have up of the stables that they make for them with their little tags with their whole personalities of the horse are just adorable. I encourage this. I encourage all kinds of play. I think we should be playing more. I think we adults should be playing more. It's play.
I watched,
we never need to stop.
There was like a little, I don't know, video within the article, and it was showing those two girls riding their hobby horses down the road, going back home after playing. And tell me what you think. I looked at it and I thought, I think those girls just really want to play and be whimsical, and they can't do it without something sort of being there. It's almost like a crutch a little bit, but a good kind.
Yeah.
Where it allows them to run and skip and hop and jump, but they can sort of be like, oh, it's the horse doing it.
You know what I think is a perfect, I don't know, analogy or metaphor comparison in the adult world? Halloween.
Yes.
We love Halloween.
Dressing
we
up.
take on a different personality. Mm-hmm. We feel like we get to explore a different side of ourselves. We get to like live out a fantasy of whatever character we chose. We think about it for a long time. We put effort into the costume and whatever, whether you're going out and buying it or making it or whatevs. And it brings out a playful side, and we really enjoy that. And we use Halloween as that same sort of like excuse to, act this way or have this kind of fun. And
yes. I totally agree. That's a really good comparison.
Yeah. And we how much you love doing that. I love doing that. Mm-hmm. It's so fun.
And these aren't delusional people. Because for me, it felt a little bit the same as, those guys that have the dolls that they pretend are like real people.
Yeah.
It kind of had the same thing where I'm like, oh, okay, we have to pretend like this is a real horse. But then I was like, first of all, they're girls. They're not women. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't think they're delusional. They don't think they're real. They're just playing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're playing. Mm-hmm. I love it. And I'm reading this quote right here of this little girl named Miss Flippa, and it says, if your hobbies are ice hockey, nobody asks you when you're going to stop. I'm always happy. I always smile when I do this, and I'm always improving. Why would I want to stop?
Oh, see, that's a good point, and I like that comparison with sports as well, because what's that about?
Right.
It's meaningless, except society provides meaning to it and value, whereas this is still new enough where people are like, what?
Oh, and it really is something that it's so great. It says the registration fees at hobby horse competitions are kept as low as possible, about 50 cents per event. And competition organizers first work as volunteers, and then they, move up. And then it says there's one girl's mother who said she works for the city and she can't afford more than 2 hour-long riding lessons a month on real horses for her daughter at $27 each. But together with another mother, she spent $90 to rent a hall for the recent competition and just spent $40 to make a hobby horse. And now they're getting so much play and enjoyment out of it. And it's brought them so much joy. And she felt like, well, I couldn't afford this other thing. And now my daughter's getting that same sort of connection, that same sort of, passion. Like she gets to play out her all of her
what do you
play as a child. And now she gets to do it. And she can afford it.
What do you think it is, though, that makes it a female thing?
I don't know. I think with horses in general, there's something about it. I think it caters to female traits.
Anatomy?
We get to. There's something nurturing about it. You have to care for this thing.
Yeah.
I think there's also something that I was reading. I don't know if I was reading or I was watching something on horses on why women love horses. And they were saying that as women, we're often the ones who are powerless or get dominated. Mm-hmm. And with a horse, it's this very strong, very powerful animal that the woman gets to control. And that power feels really good. And there aren't very many opportunities where women get to really like take the reins, for, pun intended, and feel like they have control over something that is very powerful. And that was like the draw. And obviously this is a little different because they're not, real horses, but that's still like nurturing. You get to like care for it and brush its mane and braid its tail, but also ride it. And, it's a community and there's like cute outfits, I like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm into it. Yeah. I mean, my dad tried to buy my love when I was younger with horse riding lessons.
I want someone to buy my love.
Dressage and all the English riding, and I was in it for the shoes and the hat.
Did you take any pictures of that time?
Oh, none that are still around.
Oh, man.
I definitely did, but they would be in like my dad's collection, and I don't know where that is. Found out later he was just sleeping with one of the stable, like one of the people who worked there, so that's why I got lessons.
Could one of the Brainiacs please Photoshop a picture of Sarah in riding gear, please?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
But regardless of all of that, Sarah told me that she received a package the other day just in the nick of time from Lola.
Yes. What are the chances?
Right.
Well, I guess maybe the chances are good because they like know when to send it. But the day my period started, the box of tampons arrived. And I was so happy because I had guests over and they had purchased, like the regular tampons you buy at the store that God knows what's in them. And I'm like scared to put them inside me now because I know things.
Yeah.
And I like didn't want to use those, but the box was there under the sink. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to have to use those. Then the Lola package shows up and I open it up and I'm like, whew. I get to put the good stuff in my vagina now.
Right. Lola is a subscription service that sends you your feminine products that you need right on time, right when you need them. But even better than that is that they're 100% natural and easy to feel good about. So there's no BS, no mystery fibers or what the heck's going in your body.
Bleach, come
right?
on.
Because
no, thank you.
Those things aren't required to be reported by the FDA. So like, companies
Which is insane.
It really is. Patriarchy.
I mean, what?
It's so dumb. But Lola makes it easier because they tell you what's in there, and it's 100% organic cotton, no chemicals, fragrances, synthetics, or dyes. And it's easy because it's customizable subscription, as we said, that comes right to your door, founded by women for women. And even better than that is that you can build your box, whatever 18 tampons or 12 pads, and you can mix whatever kind you want, light, regular, super. And you can cancel, skip, or modify your subscription anytime. They have a deal for you for 40% off all subscriptions. Visit mylola.com and enter BrainCandy40 when you subscribe. Again, that's 40% off all subscriptions. Visit mylola.com and enter BrainCandy40 when you subscribe. That way you or your partner don't have to go to the store and hustle and get the products you need. You already have them.
This would have really helped Sally Ride on her journey up to space. She would have been like, 18 is good, not 100. I tell everybody that story, and the reactions are so funny. I wish I just recorded people's faces as I told them that.
Honestly,
they sent up 100 tampons with Sally Ride. That's the funniest thing ever.
Still to this day, I feel like men do not understand women's bodies at all. Like, even though that was a long time ago, I can't believe today the things I hear where I'm like, wait, you don't understand that the pee hole is not the same. Like the sex hole, they're all different, people.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
I was cracking up at the Amy Schumer special when she did that bit about when you're about to bang doggy style and the guy just sort of sits back there and like waits for you to turn your body into a kickstand and reach back and like guide it in. Like, you have a better view, mister. You can manage this. It's like the one
Sometimes
time.
I think they just like the struggle, to watch a struggle.
I feel like it's because they don't really know where to put it.
Oh, that might be the case. There's
There's confusion.
Yeah.
But it is funny all the same. Okay, did you see the article that was sent to us by Joanna about when you hear financial advice for women and how it's often like, don't buy that latte, save the money and you'll get rich. and how the author was arguing that it's sexist and that nobody's asking men to not buy their, $5 whatever, and that latte has gendered undertones.
Yeah, it does.
That it's frivolous and
yep. Oh God.
Whatever.
Yep.
And that people aren't really doing that. Like, they're not saying don't buy that beer, fellas.
Yeah, that's good. And also, even in there, it's the real way to wealth is not let's save $5. That's a way. That's not correct.
It's a false narrative.
Yes, and it's not focusing on. It's like whatever. It's still keeping us in the mindset of like, oh, save $5 here. No, that's not it. Let's look at big financial planning. Let's look at big investments, big.
This is what it was
like
saying.
The real stuff.
That when they give advice to women, it's about deprivation and like depriving yourself of something.
Yep, that's essentially the point I'm trying to make.
And when they give advice to men, it's proactive. You should invest in this thing.
Yes, that is. Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Yep.
Women are expected to deny themselves while men are expected to take action.
And studies show that women who do get that information and are investing are better investors than men.
Exactly.
Because they don't take as big, like the risks aren't as big. They're better at planning for the future and being like not conservative with it, but not taking big financial risks. And so they do better at investing.
Right. That's what it was saying, is that
it's
when
like they're trying to keep us from that.
Yeah, when you arm women with the correct information, they are better investors, but instead we tell them just don't buy that coffee. As if that's going to be the thing that gets you wealth. Right.
Or also, like, they're not saying you need to negotiate for a better wage or whatever. I was watching like one of those little Instagram videos on this great site I follow. It's like Global something, I can't remember, but it's really wonderful, like Global Change or something like that. And it was a woman who was saying that she had to fight all this, and that she's like trying to teach women, or she is teaching women, like financial planning and those kind of things. And she said that it's exactly what you're saying. It's not the save like $5 on a latte here. She was teaching women skills on like negotiating their their earnings and their how much money they get paid, all that stuff. And she said at every single job she's had, she's negotiated for at the very least a 10% increase in whatever salary they first offered her.
Really?
And she's made that a point. She's like, whatever they offer, I go for at least 10%. And I've negotiated where I've never gotten less than 10% more than their first offer.
It's that thing you talked about, though, where you feel like you're not deserving of...
Yep.
I feel like that all the time.
Yep. And we need to stop that.
Yeah, it's the wrong mindset. But it's a hard habit to break, because if you, for whatever reason, believe that you would be lucky to have whatever job it is, then you think you can't ask for more than they're offering or what you deserve.
And often the jobs that women just naturally, like, for example, therapy, like it is a female-dominated business, and the majority of the people at our clinic are women. And what we're doing is so... It's like nurturing and caring and listening and things that all come natural to a lot of us. And we're also like caring for the human spirit, and we see how much it helps, where we tend to go like, we look at the client and the position the client's in, and we'll be like, okay, well, it's on a sliding scale and your fee's only, $40 or whatever, because we don't want to, like, it's like we devalue our work in order to... meet, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I think those jobs where it feels like it's just intrinsic or natural to do it, it's hard to ask for money for that. Mm-hmm. Because it feels like, how can I ask for money for seeing the human and caring for the individual?
Wow.
Like, it's not like I'm building them a house and you can look at it and you can see it and it's tangible and it's like, yeah, here's the hours I worked. And this is all very...
Yeah, it's like invisible labor.
It's invisible. Oh, Amen. There you go. I would say teachers, it's the same.
Yeah.
I almost feel like nurses, same.
Yeah, it's difficult to quantify these things.
Caregivers, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The thing thank you for summarizing. The roles that women play are often not tangible. Like the what did you just say that was so beautiful?
Yeah, invisible labor.
Yes, it's invisible labor. So we don't attach that value to it, and it doesn't make money.
Yeah,
this isn't something that's like. I can't do more therapy and then make more money for It's almost like I'm in one of those crazy jobs where the goal is to not have the client come back anymore.
Right. I mean, in a way, a lot of fields are like the medical field is similar. I mean, all things being equal, you want people to just be healthy and whatever, but that's not how you're going to make money.
Right.
Well, one bit of financial advice I will give to women and men, whoever, is to try Lightstream, especially if your credit card bills are keeping you up at night, all those crazy interest rates in the double digits. No, thank you. Lightstream is such a good solution if you have that problem, which so many people do. Be smart and pay off your credit card balances with a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. Get a fixed rate as low as 5.95% APR with autopay. So here's a scoop. They have this really easy online application. I checked it out. It takes not long at all. And then you can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000. And there are no fees. And they might even put it in to your bank as soon as the day you apply, which is awesome. And if you want to save even more, our listeners get an additional interest rate discount. The only way to get this discount, though, is to go to lightstream.com/braincandy. That's lightstream.com/braincandy, subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/braincandy for more information. I read an amazing article in the New York Times about the invisible labor of women at home, which is something a lot of people talk about, but it had a stunning summary, which was that it would take 75 years at the rate we're going until there is equality at home in labor division. 75 more years. And I feel like it's almost worse now that men are doing more than they used to. So they're like, what? But it's still so far from being even. And a lot of it in the article was describing how they just don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to them if their kids are like late for school or don't turn in their homework or whatever it is. So the women know that if they don't do it, if they don't care, it just won't get done.
Right. I think this is one of those, the big picture versus small everyday things again, where it's like the men looking at what is their job. I'll take my husband, for example. We had to have like a negotiation of role, like chores and roles and things like that in the house, especially when I'm real busy at grad school. And, Landon got it, but we talked about how, he's looking at, okay, what is like the long-term plan for the family? What's going to keep us, how am I going to care for my family in the big picture? And that's like working, making sure he's working and like, saving and handling our finances and all that. And so he's like spending so much time looking at the big picture and the future that it's very hard to change that focus to the every single day, the little stuff.
True. Many of them, however, enjoy doing that.
Oh, good point.
And I think they like to think we enjoy doing all the
excellent
bullshit.
Excellent point.
And I would like to say, I do not enjoy it.
This is what I go through. We go through this with clients where it's like, what is the roles what are like with my couples that I work with? Like, what are the roles that you take on and what do those roles mean to you? What does that action mean to you? What do you get out of it? What are the thoughts and feelings that come from it? So, if you have one person who it's like, oh, well, I make the meal, like, for Landon, for example, he'll like make these great big meals and put so much energy into it. And while he's making the meal, I'm like setting the table and cleaning up and vacuuming, like say we're having a party or something. And I'm doing all these chores. And if you were to ask him, like, what do you get? Like, how is your emotional well-being while you're cooking. It's like, oh, it's great. I'm happy. This is like my form of self-care. I get to, like relax, and I enjoy, making food and cooking, and it brings me so much joy. But if you were to ask me if I liked vacuuming and fluffing the pillows and setting up the tables, no, that causes me stress. So we are both setting up for a party, but his role in it brings him
joy.
Yeah. And mine contributes to my crippling anxiety. So, it's like you have to look at those things and then go, okay, well, where's an opportunity for Sarah to get the same sort of self-care in her day?
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Right. You got to fight for it, man.
Yep. And negotiate. Every single role, there's this really great list that the Gottman Institute, it's this wonderful couple who started they're pretty much like the leading psychologists in couples work, and so good, in fact, that they can watch a couple and predict with a 98% accuracy whether the couple will be divorced in the next 5 years or whatever, based on just a few things that they see. So they're really good at understanding what it is that creates conflict in a relationship and what helps bring them closer together. And so they have this list called Who Does What. And it's probably 150 things long. And it's stuff that you would never even think about. Like if I were to just ask a couple, like, okay, what do you do? And what do you do? They wouldn't even be able to come up with these little things that we all do. Yeah. It's things like buy cards, send cards, buy birthday presents for kids, organize drawers,
make
organize
dental
the pantry.
Appointments.
Yes, all of those are on there. And so I created this intervention where I took those lists, I printed them, and I cut out each little, chore, and I put it on a popsicle stick, and I give one set to one partner and one set to the other partner, and then on this plate and I call it What's on Your Plate, and they pick out every single chore, every single task that they do, and they put it on their plate, and then the other partner picks out every one they do, and they put it on their plate, and then they can compare, like, whose plate has more, what are the, like, different categories that these fall into, are there any ones that both think that they're doing that maybe we could, like, just take off one person's plate and give sole responsibility to this other person, and it helps men see just how much women do that they don't even think about.
And sometimes, like I said, they make this argument that, well, for example, I don't care if the laundry gets done every day, or, stuff like that. The idea
until
of,
the laundry doesn't get done every day.
Right. Yeah, you don't care because it's getting accomplished.
Right.
So
that's why I every now and then will be like protest and just go on strike.
Yeah, because it's very easy for it to get unequal again. Like, even if you recalibrate and you're like, okay, we're going to do this fair. But then people slip into their old habits, both people.
Yep.
And you have to...
Yeah. I do think, though, it's really important to communicate your needs congruently, especially with men. Like, they need and I'm not trying to be gendered. This is just how it is. Like, if you just ask and state your needs and wants very clearly, most of the time they'll do it. Mm-hmm. We just don't ask. And we do this weird mind reading thing where we think that maybe if I complain about it, then they'll get the hint and they'll do it. They won't. They absolutely won't. But if you say, hey, I'm not able to do the laundry right now because I need to take care of X, Y, and Z, and I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Can you please fold the laundry? Or I need you to fold the laundry. Don't even say, can you please? I need you to fold the laundry. They'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding. It works. Like, you just have to communicate congruently. What are you feeling? What is going on your plate? And just like we were talking the other episode about how to ask for what you want in a very direct way, and speak in that like style of language that they will respond to. And it really works. Like, ask for what you need directly. And don't try to do that like, oh, I know, maybe if I angrily fold the laundry, they'll notice that I'm upset, and then they'll say, oh, honey, can I help you? They won't. We as women will absolutely pick up on those little things because it's what we do. And we have to do that so that we can be attuned to the needs of our children. Mm-hmm. And that is just what has been after centuries and whatever programmed into us, but it's not the same they won't, I wish that we could say that it's not like that, but it is. And that's so just ask. Just
ask. It certainly doesn't hurt to ask.
Right. And then based on whatever answer, then that is something else you can negotiate, and talk about, if you don't get the response that you'd like. But I honestly, I've never asked directly and then been gotten any pushback.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't hurt.
And you're really good at that with Adam. You ask very directly what you need, and he's jumps to it, and it's great.
Poor Adam.
But I noticed that you don't you don't skirt around. You don't it's just Adam, I need you to do this. He's like, okay, I'll do it. And we should all be like that. It works.
I should start saying more things.
Right. Me too.
I should make that list longer.
I'm you just have to ask, and they want to do it.
Well, another thing they might want to do is make a baby, right?
Yep, mine does. Oh my God, Landon is so baby crazy right now.
He has baby fever?
Crazy baby fever. Every time he sees a baby, he's like, I saw that baby, and I was just thinking how much I want a baby.
Does he just love kids?
Yep, and he's just so ready, and he's counting down. He was like, so when are we going to start trying? He's trying to be really respectful of my schedule and my stress about graduating, and he's like, so the day after, you ready?
Oh,
yeah, it's real sweet. Yeah.
Well, Sarah is now going to be using an Ava bracelet, which you wear at night, and it's comfortable and it's super cute. But you just wear it when you're sleeping, and it tracks all the weird cycles in your body and what's going on in there, and it'll tell you when you're fertile, 5 most fertile days in your cycle, and be like, hey, you should bang because if you want to get pregnant, because you might get pregnant today.
Yeah, man.
And it's handy if you are trying to get pregnant, but also if you just want to know what's going on with your cycle, which can be very unpredictable and can be helpful to know what day things are happening and what to expect. I think it's really clever invention and really helpful with something that can be very mysterious to a lot of people.
Yep.
And frustrating. And Ava has a really nice system set up so that you can better understand your body. And visit avawomen.com, and you can learn more. And for listeners of our program, you get $20 off your order by going to avawomen.com/braincandy and use our code BRAINCANDY. That's avawomen.com/braincandy, code BRAINCANDY for wherever you are in your life. And
yes.
Hopefully Sarah makes her husband happy and
gets a baby in there.
Yeah, gets a bun in the oven.
Yeah.
You'll be so cute.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I just really hope I'm part of me's kind of nervous
I'm
about
sure.
being pregnant again. I don't want to be sick. That's the part that scares me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so scared that because I got so sick. I really do think that, I don't want to blame myself, and I definitely am not doing that. But I just didn't even have I wonder if I even had the nutrients in me to,
really?
I was throwing up so much, and I couldn't eat.
Oh, right.
Drink
yeah.
water, and I could, everything. So I'm going to just try really hard and,
keep your body healthy. Yeah, it is a shame though that they can't do more for people that struggle with that, because that is a nightmare. Yeah. And every day people just get through it, but my God, it's terrible. I hope you have a totally different experience in that.
Yeah, I definitely can, because it is,
Yeah.
My 2 out of 3, my mom was really sick, but I think with one of us she wasn't. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe it was
like a boy-girl thing.
After all. Yeah, maybe. No, it was one boy, one girl. Yeah.
Huh.
She was sick with me, but not with one of my brothers.
Did you read the story about the woman that ran the marathon wearing her nursing scrubs?
Yep. Mad about that. God.
Right?
What the actual F?
So this woman was training for a marathon, and she had read that the person who had the world record for the fastest time in a marathon whilst wearing a nurse's uniform was very close to the time she was getting. And she thought, well, what the heck? I'll try to break the world record.
Because she's a nurse.
Because she's a nurse. And so she wore her scrubs, and they wouldn't count
her
it.
actual uniform.
Yeah.
She wore the uniform given to her as a nurse.
Yeah. And they said it doesn't count because it's not a dress.
What the heck? This is such an antiquated, rule in the Guinness Book of what the qualification for nurses uniform is, that they needed to have a little hat and a skirt. This is frickin' 1920
right
here. And she's like, excuse me, what? Mm-hmm. They disqualified her from winning because she's not wearing essentially the sexy nurse costume from Halloween.
Right, exactly.
That
Sarah.
probably would have counted.
I will say, though, that I thought it was funny that there's a man that has the world record for a man in a nurse's uniform marathon.
And is it? Yeah.
He wore a dress.
Okay, that's funny.
So I give him credit for that, but I mean, come on.
Right.
I can't believe that they actually said this.
I can't.
It has to be a dress.
Every week we have a story like this.
Right. And who are
when
these
is it going to
idiots?
not surprise us? I mean, I'm always going to be shocked by these things.
Well, because you just think, who is the individual human being who's like, nope, you have to wear a dress?
And did they not have any foresight to understand what the fight, the pushback they're going to get? You couldn't see where this was going?
I also think it's ridiculous that there are so many world records.
Yeah.
That's a dumb record anyway.
Is there a record that you think you'd be able to break?
I bet you there's one we could all do, given how specific they are.
Yeah, they're so weird. It's the person to ride a unicycle the longest while juggling,
while wearing
also,
red. Yeah. It's too specific. I like the general ones, world's oldest person or whatever.
Longest fingernails. I always like that one.
Those books are fun to look at.
Yeah, they really are.
Back in the,
I'm trying to think of what I think you'd be.
Yeah, what would yours be?
Well, I'll tell you what ours definitely isn't. After what I learned the other day when we were playing, because that's what we do, play as grown-ups.
Yes.
We would not be able to crush the world record for most dominoes, largest domino setup.
We are pathetic.
Pathetic people. Susie and I were just playing with Lincoln's dominoes, creating a little, the dominoes. So you knock them down and it's real fun.
Yeah.
We couldn't get more than 10 up without, I was like, what's wrong with our hands?
I know.
I need to cut back on the caffeine.
Technically we were drinking, but we had just started. I mean, 2 sips of wine. What's that going to do? Yeah.
But, if anything, I thought maybe that would steady my hand. Nope. Terrible. We were so bad. And I was like, well, let's just play regular dominoes because we're clearly awful at this.
It was almost startling how bad we were.
Yeah. And so frustrating. We were trying so hard.
Right. Because we
still,
can't
one of
do
us would knock
anything
it down.
For fun.
Right. It became a competition with ourselves and no one real quick.
We were like, what do you think they do whenever they want to break the record? Do you think they have stop points?
Yes. These are all real conversations that went on, people.
And we never think it's weird at the time, but when we talk about it later, we do.
I love us.
I love us too.
Funny.
Hey, did you?
I have an interesting. No. It's the battle. Who's going to share their story?
Tell me. Go.
Oh, do you want to hear about the most hilarious bachelor party ever, or a new antidote for the most poisonous thing on the planet?
Oh my God! I'm
know,
into both of these. I'll start with Bachelor.
What do you want? Okay, the bachelor party. So. There was a bachelor party that was going on for this guy named Angelo, and he sent the message sent out the invitations to his buddies or whoever organized this, and they misspelled the last name of one of the guests, and the person who received it was this guy named Will Novak, who lived in Arizona. and the bachelor party was taking place in Vancouver. So it was this guy who lived in Vancouver and all of his buddies, and Will Novak from Arizona gets this message that says, Angelo's bachelor party, are you in? And a normal person would just be like, oh, like that's that name. I must have received this in error. Delete. Well, not Will Novak. Will Novak was, his response, no joke, was, fuck yeah, I'm in. So this guy, the people, Angelo's bachelor party people were like, okay. Like, are you really? Like, and the guy was like, I'm in. I'm there. What do I got to do? And they were kind of going through this like almost like game of chicken of like, are you really coming? And so Will went ahead and set up a GoFundMe.
Oh
and
my
he put it
God.
online of like, send me to Angelo's bachelor party. It was fully funded in under an hour. Over $3,000. Like, it went viral. Like, he put the message out there. I don't know who this guy knows, but it got out into internet world, and it just spread like wildfire. It was funded real fast. And it gets better after that. So then the bachelor party was like, let's make sure this guy isn't a murderer. So they asked for a picture. They're like, hey, can you send us a picture of you? So what picture does Will Novak send? A picture of him doing karate when he was 10 years old, which is like the cutest thing. So then the bachelor party takes that image, makes shirts for the bachelor party that say Angelo's bachelor party with Will Novak's 10-year-old karate picture on it, which is already hilarious. So then like this story like gets out, and I like now that it's gone viral, and now people in Vancouver are aware that this is happening. They're like people are involved. So they show up at the airport like Will Novak, who has his trip fully funded, shows up at the airport, and at the airport, a local brewery in Vancouver heard about this story and showed up at the airport with kegs of beer and tons of free beer for their bachelor party. Then a local car dealership donates a Maserati for them to ride around in during the trip.
Oh
like,
my
it
God.
was so great. It just kept getting better and better and better. And this bachelor party turned into like the most awesome bachelor party ever. And they were like, and then there's this quote in the article I read that was like, it was the best party. Nobody got arrested. Nobody, like, nothing bad happened. But the sad part is the real Will Novak ended up like twisting an ankle or something, jumping off of the table or like something like that. That was like the only bad thing that happened. But it was just so great how this one guy's answer, like responding to the wrong email, turned into the best bachelor party ever.
Wow.
With all these fun treats, like everything great just kept happening. They had such a good time, and maybe we should all be more like Will.
Yeah, for sure.
And just be like, let's make some human connection wherever possible.
I am all for that, and I do try to be like that. However, are they all friends now?
I think so.
They have to be, right?
They have to be. And the pictures are hilarious. Like, they went skiing. They all went skiing together, but in those, like, funny 80s, like, vintage ski outfits.
God,
So they're
these
all, like,
people
these
are
hot pink
soulmates.
neon. Soulmates. It's so cool. It's so great that they met. And it's so, like, the bachelor party just kept getting, like, local businesses wanted to hook them up. And so, Will Novak, uninvited, but comes with free beer and Maseratis, and
They certainly need to invite Will to their wedding, too.
good point. Yes.
I bet they did.
The shirt's my favorite part. Like, you should see, it's like this little blonde boy with his white belt or something in the karate pose.
Is Will Novak single? He should come on the show.
Oh, right? It's such a great story.
Man, I love Will Novak.
Yeah, that was another one from the Good News Network.
You know what? Another thing that's good news is getting your gut right and getting all your tummy, like, perfect and happy.
You might need that after a bachelor party, too.
Yeah, after you have some of those kegs, you might need some modbiotics, which are the things that kill off those gut bugs that make you sick and give you bad skin and make you feel like garbage. All diseases begin in the gut. Hippocrates told us that, so he knew something. And if you want a product that helps you kill off those bad gut bugs that wreak havoc on your body, then you should try Gut Right, because that's what it does. I don't know. It's like voodoo. I don't really understand it. I just know that this is what it does. And you can get your gut right today. Visit ATPscience.com sightings.com/getgutright and get 20% off your first order and free shipping when you use coupon code BRAINCANDY at checkout. Offer limited to the first 100 customers to use the promo code. That's atpscience.com/getgutright and then use the promo code BRAINCANDY to get 20% off your first order and free shipping. All right.
Oh, and a little update. Since the crowdfunding campaign from Will Novak raised more money than they even needed, he donated all the excess funds to his new friend Angelo and his bride.
Oh, man, that's nice.
Right? The best.
Love it.
And to correct the twisted ankle that I said he had, no, excuse me, it was a dislocated shoulder, but
Whoa.
from, quote, shredding the gnar.
What the hell does that mean?
You know, he was like skiing and he was like shredding the gnar, like going like nuts. Like
Why do they call it gnar?
Like gnarly. Like, I don't know,
Oh,
it's
Lord.
probably short for like shredding the gnarly tube or something like that. But that's the quote. It says, quote, shredding the gnar, and it was a dislocated shoulder. So I just want to make sure I get my facts right.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah, real fun. I just love that story.
Did you hear about how... Oh, wait, I want to hear that other story you had.
Oh, okay. I will tell you because it's so good.
Thank you.
Have you heard of the box jellyfish?
Never.
Oh my God, this thing, let me just tell you a little bit about it. This sounds like the ultimate nightmare of an animal. So this thing is 10 feet long with 60 tentacles and like these huge long tentacles that are each like over 10 feet long themselves. And the venom in them can kill 60 grown men in like seconds. Each tentacle is covered with millions of... this is like the scariest phrase ever. Millions of microscopic hooks filled with venom.
Yeah, that's hideous.
Hideous. And this part like gave me extra chills that these box jellyfish actively swim. They don't just float, and they can swim 4.6 miles per hour, which seems kind of fast if you're like trying to swim away from it. It's totally terrible, right? Mm-hmm. And if you happen to get caught by one of these tentacles, what happens is your body immediately starts shutting down. You have necrosis of the skin. This is like what it says under the effects of this venom. Necrosis of skin, cardiac arrest, and severe pain. I was like, duh, you don't need to tell me this. There's severe pain after necrosis of the skin and cardiac arrest. That's
Right,
kind of like
implicit.
the given. Yes. So
Where do these guys live?
I'll give you one guess. Where every single animal that will absolutely kill you lives.
Where?
Australia.
Oh
my God! It's like the most deadly animals are all in Australia. The most poisonous snakes. Like it's so. In thinking about this and like these animals that are really deadly, this is a place. Australia is a place where scientists really do a lot of research on animals that do have these like this venom and it are so poisonous because they give us hints or they help us learn about what causes pain and this like people are studying, researchers and scientists are studying these animals to find a better painkiller, to find out how pain is delivered, what parts of the body, like what responds to pain in an attempt to create non-addictive painkillers. Like things that just work on your pain receptors and not any of the other receptors, like the things that would cause addiction. Mm-hmm. So in doing this, researchers were able to discuss, they found I don't even know what it is. They created a chemical that can block the venom that I guess it attaches to like cholesterol in the body. Okay. And so they invented a cure, like an antidote for this that has to be administered within 15 minutes, but it's been shown to completely stop the necrosis of the skin. So it prevents this venom from attaching to the cholesterol in the cells, and by preventing that, it stops the necrosis. They still aren't sure if it'll stop the cardiac arrest part, but at least they are already starting to be able to find this cure for this, and by isolating whatever this is, they're able to, like, I don't know, put it in other medications to work as a painkiller.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like really interesting that they're going so deep into researching animals that are venomous, and by finding a cure for just that venom, it's kind of like the venom from snakes we're able to use for, I want to say, like other, like shots and things like that.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing. So now, thank goodness, we have this. But then I'm thinking, man, 15 minutes you have to administer the antidote? Like, that's not a lot of time.
Right, unless you keep it on the boat or wherever.
Yes. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, now I hope they don't make this crazy expensive. And they were able to figure out this information by using that genome editing technology, that CRISPR machine, which also, really bad name. It makes me think that we're like scrambling genes and it just doesn't sound good. Like putting it into the CRISPR, you don't think something good's going to come out of that.
It's really funny, Sarah.
Right? I don't know. For some reason, I was like, CRISPR, ? Name change, branding problem.
Well, you know how they refer to that drawer in your fridge as the CRISPR? They're basically like the one that keeps your produce. I like it for that because it sounds fresh.
Right. But for some reason, to me, it reminds me of like fried chicken and like what. Like I just feel like it just something like a CRISPR, like sounds like something you do to my onion rings, not like my genes.
Oh my God, that's
But
really
by doing
funny.
this, they were able to find out what genes, like what it was that they could like mutate to stop the poison from being effective.
Well, I mean, the world is a scary place.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with knowing that those things are on the planet, but at least people are trying to help us not die from them.
Right. I mean, could you imagine 10 foot long, what is it, 60 tentacles, each 10 feet long, going in every single direction and swimming at almost 5 miles an hour?
What? 10 feet long?
Yes. 60 of them, and they're each 10 feet long.
Oh, God. I just got
with
dry
millions of microscopic hooks full of venom.
You're like, did I mention the millions?
Did I say that? Millions of microscopic hooks?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And it swims?
Right. That's
faster than me?
No, that's terrible.
Death.
Like it's an alien, but it lives on Earth.
Right. I see those, like, oh, gosh. I was thinking about that the other day. I was watching one of those, like, the Our Planet things of, like, the deep oceans and looking at the fish that we're seeing, like, super deep down there.
They have, like teeth and lips and stuff.
Alien life, totally covered in mucus, totally, like, huge teeth that glow in the dark. All that would make sense.
I just read an article, actually, about how, essentially, UFOs are real.
Yeah, they are. I'm totally believe that.
You've been saying this for years.
I know. Tell me what the article says.
It was saying how basically the military had to convince whoever handles that stuff to start keeping track of these sightings because legitimate people, pilots and engineers and NASA pilots and stuff were saying they were seeing these things and nobody was tracking it because it sounds silly. But they're seeing these tic-tac shaped spacecrafts.
I'm freaking out right now. Okay, go. Keep talking.
That they have so a normal flying object would have air that they take in and expel. So exhaust or wind. There was nothing. No wind or exhaust whatsoever.
Oh my God.
And they are all seeing the same stuff and they have absolutely no explanation for it. And they seem like they are very advanced technology. It's not just like a weird light that they see. It's actual structure.
Yep. Oh, remember that thing that was out in outer space? That they said that stopped and then turned and wouldn't. We know that it's not a what do they call a celestial body because it freaking made a right turn and it's not moving with gravity. People, right? I mean, come on. Or left, whichever. But it moved in the other direction. And they're like, okay. I mean, this came and went. It's like people are ignoring this. We are seeing these things and, the pooperintendent stories make the news.
Well, because we can understand all of the components.
We can wrap our heads around it.
Yeah, we poop, they poop, we run, they run. Yeah. But this is just like, we can't understand it.
Right. And what is it? I heard, oh man, it was some quote from a philosopher or something that says, you have to believe it to see it. Not you have to see it to believe it.
Ooh.
It's really the reverse of that. You have to believe it to see it.
Oh, my God.
And so if we start expanding our minds of what is possible, then the impossible becomes a reality because our minds are just expanded to accept that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to be thinking about that.
A story, I mean, I assume it's like this is, I don't know if it's a story of legend, but it's out there in the world. I've heard this, that when, I guess, Christopher Columbus's ships or whoever, the ships that came over, like when Native Americans, when the ships first came, they had never seen a ship before.
Yes, you told me about this.
They literally didn't see it. And it wasn't until somebody in the story, it says like a medicine man noticed the ripples in the water and said something has to be out there. So he started looking for the something that could be out there. And then the ships appeared to them. And then he told other people, and then other people saw the ships.
Because they had no frame of reference.
They had no frame of reference.
Wouldn't see what was there in front of them.
Correct.
That's bonkers.
And then I wonder about this with, like sometimes my dog just stares off and I'm like, I think he sees something that I don't see. And then like kids will do it where they'll just a kid will just like, and I wonder, I'm like, are they seeing something that it is not in my frame of reference and I can't see it?
My niece Dahlia, our assistant who's listening to this, she, when she was little, they lived in a house, and in her nursery, she would point to a spot on a spot on the wall and cry and be super upset all the time, and there was nothing there that we could see. And I don't know, like the house that was connected to theirs, like a row house, was a home for disturbed women. I don't know what you'd call it, like troubled women. And we were always like, wonder what she sees. Like,
oh, she's seeing something.
You think?
Oh, yes. I mean, I think back to, the connection between animals and people.
Right.
And why wouldn't there, it's crazy to think that there wouldn't be a people connection.
True.
Like, to some just energy that there's just stuff we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it.
But I like it. It makes me happy.
I love it. Because I think about just human potential and how our mind is so powerful.
Well, because life on this earth is so painful that all we can do is kind of hope that there's more to the story that's not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or
connect to we have to see the good things that are here right now. And whatever you give attention to is what your reality is going to be. So you can focus on the good and it'll be good. It's kind of like people who are lucky. They say they're only lucky because they think they're lucky.
Yeah.
And they start to recognize all the times where they're lucky versus unlucky.
Do you really think so?
I know so.
You're like, I'm a master.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because I always say I'm like super lucky. And lucky things happen to me, but that's because I ignore the times where, I can't find the parking space. And the times where I, get the front row, I'm like, see, it's because I'm lucky.
Huh. I don't know how you see that when the glass is clearly half empty, Sarah.
Oh, my God. It's overflowing, Sis.
It kills you.
It's overflowing.
All right. Well, leave us a 5-star review, everybody. We got to go. We got things to do around here.
Yeah, man. We got, dominoes to play.
Dominoes to play, wine to drink. We're on it.
Yep. Let's do it.
Doing the Lord's work. We'll see you next
Until
time.
next time.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.